the ship notes. It's about 2 o'clock p.m. It's September the 13th, 2019. This segment is not the second one to Kangaroo Court. Kangaroo Court, I'm going to add another in between, like Kangaroo Court 1A. Then I come to Kangaroo Court 2, Part 2. There's some other items that I'm putting in Kangaroo Court that I want people to understand in reference to the relationship Rome and Israel, really Jerusalem, but Israel too. Many people don't know that during the time of Christ and from Judah Maccabee to 70 AD, there was a partnership between Rome and Israel, the whole entire Israel, including Jerusalem. And that partnership was it was documented, and it's documented in the book of Maccabees. Now I have the information that showed what happened. It was a war between Israel and the Greeks, and the Greeks was relentless. Even though Judah Maccabee scored many points, but it was no end to the Greeks' advance. It was similar to that of Alexander the Great. One of his strategy is to go with a small complement of 40,000. And from what I gather from the information I got from Alexander the Great, strategy is that he relieved all his men every 40,000 like that. Some will, after a campaign, another 40,000 will come from Greek and relieve the other guys. And he kept a fresh camp all the time. But he himself was a warrior of that didn't need to be refreshed. He was into it. He enjoyed it. Him and those partners that he had. Now those partners, they became the recipient of his empire, as you can see in Daniel chapter 11. That's about the different kings that dominions that they took. 4 of the dominions that I'm not explaining it right. The dominion that Alexander the Great left behind was divided 4 ways with his 4 generals and friends. One of them was over Jerusalem, and they took Jerusalem, Egypt, and that's where the Alexander library come from too. So Alexander, when he first came in, to pass through Israel, there was no battle. There was no battle because Daniel already wrote about it, and the people in Israel knew about it, and they was expecting him to come. So he didn't fight nobody. They actually, saluted him as he came through to fight against Egypt. And then he set up a library, and that library had some of the, he didn't steal books, he borrowed them and then gave them back to his rightful owner, according to the history. Or according to history, that the way it happened. So, in reference to the Kangaroo Court 1A, that's why I'm going to put some of that information in there in reference to the agreement, because you got to know why Christ was there during that time. He was during the agreement Christ came in, not during the occupation. There was no occupation of Israel or Jerusalem during the time of Christ. It was an agreement. The agreement ended in 70 AD. It started in 150 according to the BC calendar in reference to the book of Maccabees at around 150. It wasn't like 150 BC. It could have been close to it, because BC is a count down to AD, not a count up. AD counts up, BC counts down. So around 150, according to the book. Maybe I'm not giving it a great example of the time, how it was expressed. but that's the best I can do at this time. But that information is correct in the book. And this is the agreement that the high priests and the Sanhedrin, now when they came back, the Sanhedrin came back, they weren't under that agreement. They came back 70 years after they went into captivity. They came back because King Cyrus of the Medes gave them documents and also grants to come back and build the temple. On top of that, kings in Assyria also gave Nehemiah the same thing, documents, grants to build the walls around Jerusalem. Now the walls that Nehemiah and the people built, and the temple that Cyrus told the people to build, the temple took 40-some years to build because of the opposition. However, the walls took a shorter period. Now that is the same walls and same temple that was destroyed in 70 A.D. So I just want to get that point out, that Christ came born into the Israel race, a part of the agreement between Rome and Israel. And the agreement the agreement is going to be this Kangaroo Court Part 1A. And right now, before that, I'm putting some information up concerning the book of Revelation. That's coming up today. The book of Revelation can be looked at in reference to 1,000 years, starting with not the beginning of the book of Revelation where they talk to the churches. The churches were just being warned and given information concerning how they was doing. And some churches wasn't doing good, some churches was, but the Lord gave all these churches a warning. There were 7 churches in reference to their behavioral style during that time. Then John was taken up into heaven, and he was shown 1,000 years of incidents are going to happen upon the earth. And at the end of this 1,000 years come Armageddon. And that be the beginning of another 1,000 years, the reign of Christ. So I'm into a little bit today, this presentation I'm bringing up now. This particular one, I'm starting off with the word talent. You know, it's money. Back in the Roman day, a talent. And so I'm starting it with that name called talent. And it will work its way through the presentation in reference to the preparation for the 1,000 years. It's kind of like the end of the 1,000 years that deals with Armageddon into the 1,000 year that deals with Christ taking over the world. Because Armageddon is exactly that. Christ is attacking this world, and he's going to take it over with his angels, and he's going to cast out Satan and his angels. And at that particular time, it's just mankind with the same, the ones that have been resurrected from the dead, however, don't have the virus, which is the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil in their DNA, because they've been born again, resurrected from the dead. Now they are custodians under Christ to do the work in the 1,000 years of regeneration, and that's the first dominion. The Bible called it the first dominion, and Christ called it the regeneration period, and that's when Christ will reign over nations that was not destroyed. Armageddon don't have any. Armageddon is not to destroy the earth, nor annihilate people on the earth. Armageddon is to take over the kingdom, intact with people already still in the kingdom, bad and good, the same way it is now, good and bad. But the main purpose is to take that regime, establishment, and rulership out of the earth. Satan was locked up, according to Revelation chapter 20, Satan is locked up in the pit for 1,000 years, which is the same time as the reign of Christ. The angels that fought in the war on Armageddon, they are thrown into the lake of fire and brimstone. This is the end of them. They're gone. All the angels that fell from heaven in Revelation chapter 12, all those angels, 1/3 of them, when they lost the war, they was immediately put into the lake of fire and brimstone. Satan, however, other duties was appointed to him, in other words. He will be released and he will go out to gather together Gog and Magog, the last assault on the city. But there's not going to be any armies or anything raised to fight against Gog and Magog. You'll find in Ezekiel chapter 37, 38, and 39, they tell you what happened to Gog and Magog. They 5, 6 of them will fight against themselves to the death. And 1/6 of them will come to Jerusalem, and there'll be fire and brimstone come down from heaven and destroy them on the mountains of Israel. Then after that, there'll be 7 months of burying their bones, because the bird's going to eat them up. According to the book of Revelation, the bird's going to come, eat their flesh, and drink their blood. This is the way it's described in the book of Revelation. And they will be buried for about 7 months. However, the wood and the possession of the whole entire group, the war that they fought among each other, and the possession they had that come into Israel will be gathered into Israel to give to all the people under the new redeemed kingdom. You'll find, if you read Ezekiel chapter 37, chapter 38, and 39, I just said to you, you will see who these people are, where they come from. Don't think, a lot of people have said that they're coming across the Euphrates from the east. Partially right. But look at the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, 38, 39. You'll see they are from the 4 corners of the world. Like it said in Revelation, they come from the 4 corners of the world. They have what you call an agreement with one another. Just like we got allies today, here, there. They're going to be allies with each other, and they're going to communicate with each other, and they're going to attack. In their mind, they're not attacking Christ or the regime, that they're attacking the land because they still got the virus that Adam and Eve got when they ate off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They want to take possessions. They want to go in and steal and take down regimes. They never got a chance. And this is the last group, aggressive group that make themselves an army. No more after this. That was it. So, in that situation, in the book of Revelation, you can see that Satan, during after the 1,000-year period, because it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, Satan was locked up for 1,000 years. And that's the same time that Christ reigned, 1,000 years. But after, and this was happened after the 1,000 years, Gog and Magog came. And the burden of bones was after the 1,000 years. And also, the gathering together all the possession of all those people from all over the place was brought into Israel after the 1,000 years. So there's going to be more time after the 1,000 years, because you still got a judgment of the people that was not thrown into the lake of fire and brimstone. The people fought in the war, like Antichrist and his group and the angels, they got thrown into the lake of fire and brimstone. But the other people, the other nations who didn't participate in the war. It says so right there in chapter 13, when well, it wasn't 13, I'm sorry. It was chapter 19, when Christ attacked, and when the people on earth under Antichrist, they're going to see them attack, and they're going to get ready to fight back. They're not afraid. They were going to fight Christ and his angels, with our angels, with Satan, and with the people who got the virus. They lost the war. That was all thrown to the lake of fire and brimstone. However, Satan, his job wasn't done yet. He still had to do something. He had a purpose. So he was thrown into jail, the pit. And down there with the other people who had not rose from the dead. Don't forget, in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, say that those other people that are waiting for judgment, they don't come, you'll see where they're being judged in Daniel chapter 7. It's embedded in that. Now they'll be judged there. There's still time after 1,000 years. Christ is still there. The new heaven, new earth, and new kingdom is not yet. That means that if it is built by the time these things happen, then it's built. But I don't even know if it's built now. The Lord said which he will make, or the new heaven that he will do. I don't know if we're going to participate in it or not. It depends on the Father in reference to that. But I have more information on that, but I'm not going to crowd the table up with all this stuff, that can confuse even me, So the whole thing of it is, there's more information. I'll give you an example of what the information is going to look like and what it sounds like. As you know, and there's no doubt about it, that if you day or night in our time, the day represents the sun, the night represents the moon and stars. Where are you now? Aren't you in the dark segment of the space? The first day only had 2 areas that was defined. That was the light and the darkness. And they was divided equally into 500 years. But all the work was done in the darkness, as we can see now. We've been in the darkness all this time. We was born in the darkness. The angel appeared to be in the darkness too. Now I'm not going to get no more on that at this time. We're talking about too many things that can actually fuzz it up, mess it up, or confuse the whole issue. That is another presentation that comes later after these things I'm talking about. However, there's no escaping. No escaping. That the first day described the 2 spaces, and that the space that are being occupied now is the dark space. And this is space that all the scientists and everybody down here on this earth recognize. This is space where they send up satellites and send telescopes and everything up to look at it. And all they see is stars and planetary or things, the Milky Way, stuff like that. That's it, but it's all in the darkness. So if you think about that, when you look at the first day, the Lord divided the darkness and the light. We are in the dark part, but the same amount of space is equal, the light and the dark. But the time that things were built in the dark side was 1,000 years each, in the dark side. So I'll say no more about that. Just leave that like it is. So I'm going to go into, or put the rest of the information of this presentation into text-to-speech, starting off with the word talent. And he's going to speak about the 1,000 years in reference to the book of Revelation after the church is examined and talked with by the Spirit of God. So, but the rest of the book of Revelation is representing 1,000 years of all the things going to happen in reference to one particular scriptures. I put in here also Psalms 110. And 110 also refers to, sit down on my right hand while I make your enemies your footstool. And that's the 1,000 years making your enemies, Christ's enemies, his footstool, so he will come down and take over the whole world.
Talents. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants, and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. After a long time the Lord of those servants cometh, and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliveredst unto me 5 talents, behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant, thou hast been faithful over a few things, I will make thee ruler over many things, enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliveredst unto me 2 talents, behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant, thou hast been faithful over a few things, I will make thee ruler over many things, enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth, lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungred, and ye gave me meat, I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink, I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me, I was sick, and ye visited me, I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungred, and fed thee? Or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in? Or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? The devil and his angels. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungred, and ye gave me no meat, I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in, naked, and ye clothed me not, sick, and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungred, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. See here. 1,000 years. Revelation 20. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads, or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. 5. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection, on such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Also here. Melchizedek. Psalm chapter 110. The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou at my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion, rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord hath sworn, and will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen, he shall fill the places with the dead bodies, he shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the brook in the way, therefore shall he lift up the head. Also here. Zechariah chapter 14. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth, and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal, yes, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah king of Judah, and the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. And it shall come to pass in that day, that the light shall not be clear, nor dark. But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day, nor night, but it shall come to pass, that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day, that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea, in summer and in winter shall it be. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth, in that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. See here. Matthew chapter 24. Verse 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. See here. Mark chapter 13. Verse 24. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. Verse 25. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Verse 26. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Verse 27. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. Luke chapter 21. Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.